Huzzah! Boo! Did I scare you? The internet police. Wee-oo, wee-oo. Ooh. Chat, am I live? Talk to me. You guys know I'm a rookie to the game. Still, I got to make sure I'm doing it right. Not called. Very cool. I'm live. How you guys doing? You know the drill. Where are you dialing in from? Inspire me. Let's get the juices flowing. This is like layup lines, like a warm-up basketball. Honduras. No kidding. Culver City, Detroit, Virginia, Atlanta, Australia. What time is it in Australia? No way. Florida man. I'm going to Florida tomorrow. I'm going to be a Florida man in about 24 hours. Germany, Delaware. Germany, you got to go to bed, bro. Thailand, waking up with a little money matters. Love that. Amazing. Look at you guys. We're just one big happy family, aren't we? We're just one big family that stacks a lot of sats and stays pretty humble. We do our best. Amazing. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a good show today. Most of you guys want to talk about the bill pay stuff. There's a lot of questions about taxes. I've never seen a group more wound up about taxes. I can't wait to explain to you guys. Let me tell you something. When I was 18 years old and I was like, man, when I grow up, I want to be a CEO of a company. I want to change the world. I never thought that I would sit and explain to the internet how I do my taxes. But here we are, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. All right, let me set up here because you guys know, just like Bitcoin, as time goes on, the quality production on this show up, bullish the production quality of this show. So I'm setting up what I'm going to share. Let's get a price refresh. Okay. You guys know Cardi B? What's the current block height? Cardi B's trash, by the way. Not that I listen to her music, but I do know who she is. Okay, 19. What should this one be? We'll do volume. Um, 110. Wow, that's a big number. Holy smokes. All right. Let's let everyone dial in. We're at 164 live viewers. Okay. You guys, if you've been here, you should know this, but in case you don't, we got 164 live viewers, 26 likes. If you don't mind, give it a like. Listen, don't shoot the messenger. This is what I'm told by the people that know how YouTube works and podcasting and all that stuff. Supposedly, when you guys like it, it helps us all somehow. It like gets out to more people, or YouTube likes us more or something. Listen, I don't make the rules. I don't know the rules. Okay. But that's just what I'm told. Sometimes I'm a good boy and I do what I told. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I don't listen to what CNBC says and I dump my dollars and I stack some sats. But sometimes I listen. And this time I'm listening because I don't know what. Oh, there we go. I don't know anything about YouTube. So if you guys can please like it and subscribe, that would help us a lot, supposedly. And so whenever I see more viewers than likes, I'm like, what the heck? Okay, I'm all set up. We're going to let everyone pile in here. Ukraine is here. No way. Dollar bill has to purchase the bears. I know. We're working on it. We're stacking more sats. We're staying humble. We're waiting. We're saying, Satoshi, please forgive us for our sins and pump the corn so that we can get new ownership here in Chicago. The Chicago Bears got absolutely embarrassed again. Humbling, embarrassing showing from my Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are the shit coin of the NFL. Hey, kids show. They're the crap coin of the NFL. Greetings, Johnny. Greetings. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Money Matters podcast. I'm your host, Jack, and I just sit here for 2 hours and we hang out live. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a podcaster, but this is the most fun for me. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. I have a blast. Every single week starting on Tuesday morning, I miss you guys. I'm like, what the heck? I miss my life. The Jets stink too. You guys are awful. Knicks fan 2834. I also think the Knicks are overrated. Your little Villanova group, I think you guys kind of stink. I'm not going to lie. You're not a real finals contender. Sorry. And are you a Yankees fan? Did you guys just lose Soto as well? Sorry. All right. We're going to let everyone trickle in here. We're over 200 live viewers, which I usually take as the sign to get started, but I'm going to do it when we get to 100 likes. We're at 95 likes. If you could just, 96. Tick. If you're one of the people that hasn't liked it, do us all a favor. Click the little thumb, boop, and boom, 102. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Bear with me. Be patient. Welcome for all of those joining. Coming to you live from the empty closet. Proof of closet. The second best consensus mechanism besides proof of work. Let's do it. Every show, proof of closet. Proof of closet. It's a real closet. They sit on the internet and they say, oh, that fake closet, that green screen. No. Nothing fake about this. You see this? Nothing fake. Real deal. Proof of closet. Get it through your skull. Oh, man. Hey, if you're not having fun with it, what are you doing? You're lucky to play this game called life. You know that? Smile every once in a while. All right. Let me share my screen. Am I high? High on sats? No, I don't do drugs, man. The only drug I've ever done is marijuana, and I didn't like it. Not a drug guy, but I am high on sats. Smoking on that cold card. All right. Here we go. Here's what I got on the agenda today. We're going to check out Bitcoin at a glance. Look at this thing I set up for you guys. Look at the production quality of this show. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, little State of the Union. Oh, shit. Did I freeze? Hold on. Am I back? Fuck. Kid show. Did you guys see my screen when I did that? Or did it just go frozen? Damn it. My computer is high. Oh, man. I set up like a whole presentation for you guys. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to try it again. But if it freezes, you guys are never shy of just like screaming at me in the chat. So please, by all means, let me know if this doesn't work. Let me bring it over here, maybe. Kid show. Okay. Is this frozen? Am I frozen? Okay. Looks good. Okay. All right. Let's get the show started. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live at block height 874,019. Bitcoin is currently trading at $96,000 or $96,802.08. Excuse me. We're at a market cap of $1.9 trillion, just below $2 trillion, just below 100K, with a total volume of $110 billion traded over the last 24 hours. can't tell if I'm frozen or not. I'm just going to keep going. If Dylan or Lavinia is watching, can you guys tell me if I'm frozen in Slack or something? Oh, okay. I'm good. Okay. Bitcoin at a glance. Here's my comments just on Bitcoin. Listen, guys, we do the show once a week. So I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin over the long term. I'm not going to talk about my 2025 prediction unless you ask, unless you want to know. I'm going to talk about just for the week. My reminder to you guys remains the same. Remember what I said? I thought $100,000 was going to be a really important level. It's a big psychological level. And also, for the record, we just went straight up like this. You see my arm? This is good education right here. You see that? Straight up last month. We went up 40% in a month. Markets need time to calibrate. Markets need time to sell off. Markets need time to calm down. $100,000 is a round number. If you ask someone that bought Bitcoin a long time ago, when are you going to take profits? They're not going to say, oh, I think $96,200 or $78,400. They're going to round number, $100,000. That's why markets like round numbers. Markets are comprised and made up of humans, just like you and I, right? And humans have a lot of emotion. So markets love round numbers. $100,000 is a really round number. It's a big psychological number. You're going to see a lot of sell pressure there. And I think the market is going to take a second to calibrate and get itself to push through. So everyone's always like, sailors buying all this Bitcoin. How come it's not going higher? I think you're underestimating the psychological level that $100,000 brings. Now, with that being said, should you try and time this market? Should you short this market? No. I only own Bitcoin. So for all I know, we could blast through 100,000 in this month, in a few weeks. Don't get it twisted. But the fact that we're a little bit below 100,000 doesn't surprise me. It does not concern me. It is all good. That's what I got for this cycle. Now, if you guys have questions of what my predictions are, experiences from the past, you guys know the deal. You write questions in the chat. My team collects the questions. They put it in a document. It's right here to my left. I'm looking at it. And then I answer them. I usually do Q&A at the end of this, not to interrupt the flow of the show. So we're going to go over some topics, what happened over the last week. We're going to talk about bill pay, how I do taxes, how you guys get so upset about what the heck don't I have to do taxes? I can't live on Bitcoin. So I'll answer that, and then we'll do Q&A last. But as you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and we will answer them at the end of the show. But 100K, we're still below it. That's not a big deal. Great stacking opportunity. The last thing on this that I'll say, guys, is this is very classic halving behavior. Let me tell you guys a story. Back in 2016, there was a halving, okay? So the first halving was in 2012. The second halving was in 2016. So it was the second halving ever in 2016. I was there. And Bitcoin was trading, gosh, I want to say it was in the hundreds of dollars. I want to say a couple $100, $400, $500, something like that. From the halving in 2016, which was around spring or early summer, if I remember correctly, Bitcoin went from, let's call it $400 all the way to $1,000 by New Year's Eve, 2016. So it ended the year right around the time we're at now at $1,000. And that was a massive psychological number for us at the time. It was like, whoa, one Bitcoin, $1,000? No way. And a lot of people that were mining Bitcoin on their computer were cashing some out at $1,000. It was crazy. And Bitcoin dipped a little bit from 1,000 to open the new year. It fell down to like 800. And then in 2017, it went from like that 800 to 20,000. It went from, so that halving cycle, Bitcoin went from like 400 to 20,000, by the way. So that's like what, like a 50x or something like that. And it kind of reminds me of that, where we end the year at such a big psychological number, where you're seeing some selling, you're seeing some buyer's exhaustion, right? There's holidays, people that run and operate big funds and have big important jobs are taking time off, be with their kids, be with their family. A lot of people cashing out, taking care of themselves, celebrating. And you got this big psychological number. But in 2017, we then went from around 1,000 to 20,000. So just to show you guys the equivalent, if that were to happen of same scale, we would go from around 100,000 to $2 million per coin. Do I think that's going to happen? No. My prediction is still 250,000 to $1 million at some point next year. But just to give you guys, like, listen, I've been here. I've been around for a long time. I've been in Bitcoin for 12 years. I think 100,000 is a big round number. We'll take our time here. Again, markets go down as quick as they go up. So if you have a market that goes from 0 to $1 million in one day, it's going to come down just as fast. So Bitcoin is consolidating and building a lot of strength here. It's actually very impressive that it went up 40% in a month and has found some footing here. It hasn't given much room at all. That's very, very impressive. So that's what I think about the current market. Nothing surprises me, but more importantly, nothing concerns me. Nothing concerns me. This is just casual business. Bitcoin continues to appreciate over time if you can be patient. Okay, with that, we are going to move on to the first topic, 60 Minutes. How many of you all saw the 60 Minutes episode where they talked about crypto? And this guy gave some pretty remarkable quotes. We're going to talk about it. How many of you saw this clip? I would share the clip, but last time I did that, I crashed the stream. Did you guys see this clip? Let me know. It was atrocious. It was atrocious. All right. Well, let's chat through it. On 60 Minutes, John Reed Stark, the former chief of SEC Office of Internet Enforcement, he said, every single crime you can conceive of is easier to do now because of crypto. And I'm going to go to my next slide here, because the quote was remarkably impressive. I got to give it to him. It was impressive from the sense that he took every single piece of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and somehow squeezed it into a sentence or two. He said, every single crime you can conceive of is easier to do now because of crypto, especially ransomware, human sex trafficking, sanctions evasion, money laundering. North Korea is financing their weapons using crypto. It was remarkable. So what I did, my first point on this is I went and I highlighted crypto here. You see how I highlighted that in orange? Because I think the main point and the first point is you can take crypto and you could flip it and swap in any other significant technology, and this statement would still be true. How about this? Every single crime you can conceive of is easier to do now because of the internet, especially ransomware, human sex trafficking, sanctions, money laundering. North Korea is financing their nuclear weapons program using the internet. Or I made another one for you guys. What about this one? Every single crime you can conceive of is easier to do now because of cell phones. Every single ransomware and human sex trafficking, these people, they're using cell phones. We have to stop them. If someone makes a phone call that's a criminal using an iPhone, we have to tell Tim Cook and shut it down. No, of course not. Listen, the reality is technology is neutral. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Technology is neutral. Bitcoin is software. It's open source code. It doesn't have an opinion. It doesn't lean this way or that way. It doesn't jump up or down. It's neutral. Human beings use technology and tools to do things. Now, they often aren't neutral. Human beings can at times be criminals. For example, the criminal's favorite money to use historically, according to data, is the US dollar. So the notion that Bitcoin is somehow advancing criminal activity is ridiculous and it's absurd. Bitcoin is a technology, much like the internet or even cell phones in this example. And it is neutral. It is advancing our ability to do things fundamentally, and it is a neutral technology, period. The guy went on to say and explain how because Bitcoin doesn't have a balance sheet, it doesn't have annual reporting, Bitcoin, the protocol, can't comply with SEC enforcement and regulation. It was like, listen here, hotshot. Oh yeah, FTX, they had a balance sheet. They complied with regulation. That stopped them from committing heinous crime, right? Wrong. What about Enron? They complied. The SEC and Enron complied. Did that stop them? Wrong. Every single bank on Wall Street was complicit and they complied in 2008, right? Did that stop them? Wrong. So all of the comments were ridiculous. It was almost as if this guy did it on purpose. It was crazy. It was like, how can you jam so many FUD buzzwords in one sentence? It was remarkable. He got up there. It's like legs crossed. Let me back up. This guy was such a doofus. It's like legs crossed. Crime is now better because of crypto. Ransomware, sex trafficking, drug selling, North Korea, Russia, world war, cocaine, fentanyl, border security. It was like, listen here, dude. Shut up. You don't know anything you're talking about. And you could take crypto in your quote and replace it with any technology and it would be true. I mean, I'd have to be a caveman to operate and comply in the world that you want to live in. So just about destroying FUD, listen, on a more serious note, again, technology is neutral. So when your family and your friends ask about these quotes, you have to remind them technology is neutral. Take Bitcoin or take crypto and replace it with the internet. And it still remains true. Should we get rid of the internet because some people used it for bad things? No, absolutely not. Can you imagine if every time someone used an iPhone in a crime that it was Apple's fault? It's not Apple's fault. What's Tim Cook supposed to do about that? He sells a neutral technology. It's a phone. It's a phone. It enables you to do stuff. If you decide to do bad stuff, well, that's unfortunate. I don't condone that. I don't recommend that. But it's not the iPhone's fault. That's not the internet's fault. It's not Bitcoin's fault. So egregious, ridiculous, had to comment on it. Couldn't believe it, to be honest. And I thought it was even funnier. You know, ISIS commented and said verbatim, we recommend to not use Bitcoin because we haven't found out how to make Bitcoin anonymous enough to not get caught. Give us dollars. That's what ISIS said. Now, I don't know how true that is. I'm not an expert in that field, but it's unbelievably ridiculous, these people. So that was FUD number one. This is FUD number two. And honestly, I got to give it up. So this is Lloyd Blankfein. This is the ex-CEO of Goldman Sachs. And he tweeted, Trump correctly spoke to the importance of defending the dollar's exclusivity as the world's reserve currency. Helps U.S. trade, financing our deficit, driving U.S. policy choices on our enemies and frenemies. So why is the new admin so bent on promoting Bitcoin? Honestly, listen, when I first read this tweet, you know, you want to get up out of your chair and explain to him the goodwills of Bitcoin and how it's going to change the world. But I sat back for a second and honestly, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because listen, the guy wants to understand Bitcoin and he can't even spell it. What is BITC? I've never in my life seen that before. Maybe that was autocorrect on his phone. Listen, Lloyd, I'm not sure what's going on here, but my message to the public is this. Bitcoin requires a sense of humility. The moment you become a Bitcoiner is the moment you admit you were wrong. Nobody I've ever met got Bitcoin on the first try. not even Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm going to say that again. Nobody I've ever met in my whole life got Bitcoin on the first try, not even Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin takes a sense of humility. And that first step of becoming a Bitcoiner is admitting you were wrong. You were wrong. It's not a money for criminals. It's not Fugazi tulips mania. It's not a bubble. It's not backed by nothing. And that you were wrong. And that takes a sense of humility of asking, curiously, what is this thing? How does it work? Why is it going up in value? Why are all these smart people rallying behind it? Why is the president of the United States talking about strategically using it to get out of all of our debt, right? And I think the answer to Lloyd's question here in why Trump would be interested in Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is pro-technology, it's pro-growth, it's pro-innovation, it's pro-jobs, it's pro-energy, it's pro-industry. These are all American principles and ideals for us as a country. The Bitcoin network, there's a freedom in coming and going. There's a freedom in opining. It's fundamentally equal rights. Every single peer on the network has the same rights as everyone else. So it embodies American ideals. It acts in the best interest of the public in that this money was distributed to the people first. What Satoshi did not do is go to Goldman Sachs and say, I created a new money. I need help distributing ownership through the public markets. Satoshi didn't do that. Satoshi used mining and proof of work to say, here, let's let the people decide through contributions of energy, of raw electricity and power for a distribution. So it acts in the best interest of the people. It's pro-growth, it's pro-industry, it's pro-innovation, it's pro-technology. That's why Donald Trump is interested in it. It's the best performing thing in the history of our species. That's why he thinks the US should own it. And honestly, when I read this a second time, I applaud Lloyd because he's trying to learn. I would say, Lloyd, the first step is learning how to spell it. It's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is how you spell it correctly. And I think Goldman Sachs should exercise a bit of humility and say, maybe we were wrong about this thing. Because here's the other thing I'll say. Every single person that listened to me and my podcast over the last 10 years is financially better off than if you were a Goldman Sachs client. Say that again. Over the last 10 years, you were better off listening to me and other Bitcoiners than being a Goldman Sachs client. Just owning Bitcoin outperformed any of Goldman Sachs funds, indexes, anything they could have sold you. So I appreciate Lloyd's tweet in being curious about Bitcoin. I think Goldman Sachs and Lloyd need to show a little bit of humility and say, maybe we were wrong about this thing. Why has it outperformed us? Why have people in these empty closets with their ball caps on outperformed us over the last 10 years? Why are the smartest people in the world condoning and supporting this thing? Why is President Trump using Bitcoin to get out of debt, to grow technology, to grow jobs, to grow industry, to grow energy, to grow business, to grow innovation, to grow our global and macroeconomic stance, our geopolitical tensions, resolve of them? Why is he doing that? I think that's the first step in becoming a Bitcoiner, is admitting you were wrong. Nobody got Bitcoin on their first try, not even Satoshi Nakamoto. So, Lloyd, I applaud you for being curious. I think Goldman Sachs needs to show a little bit of humility because I think you guys have been wrong. It's okay to admit that. Everyone does, including Satoshi. The first step is how you spelled it. Bitcoin is actually spelled Bitcoin. And the answer to your question is the reason Trump is interested is, first and foremost, Bitcoin is the most performant and fastest growing network and asset in the history of humanity. Therefore, the US has an interest in owning it. Our deficits are not backed by enough growth to pay them back. And so President Trump and the United States of America should have a native interest in the fastest growing asset in the history of our species. Furthermore, Bitcoin is pro-technology, it's pro-innovation, it's pro-growth, it's pro-industry, it's pro-jobs, it's pro-energy. It embodies American ideals. It's equal rights, freedom in coming and going, freedom in opining. It's inclusive. It supports freedom ideals globally. If we're the leader of the free world, we should be the leader of the free world's money. So for all of those reasons, President Trump wants to support this industry, wants innovation, jobs, technology to be created here, domiciled here. And he thinks the U.S. should be a leader in owning this asset and backing our future promises and our debt with the hardest asset, the asset that no one can print any more of. So that's the answer to your question. Hopefully next time you spell Bitcoin correctly. And I would say to Goldman Sachs, the first step is showing a little bit of humility and admitting maybe you're wrong. And then from there, we can have a conversation. Rant over. Thought this one was a funny one, though. I really did. You know, I wanted to get all fired up, but I'm getting a chat from one of my colleagues. BITC is a Bitwise product, I guess. I still don't understand. I still don't get that. I don't think Trump is promoting Bitwise. So maybe our friend is confused. I don't know. Listen, and I don't want to be mean. I don't want to get into age. I always get in trouble when I get into age. I don't want to use the B word. Boomer! I don't want to use the B word. I don't want to use the V word. But I can't explain this guy's behavior. I can't. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe he was talking about the Bitwise product, but I don't think Trump and his admin is saying that we need to use Bitwise to get out of debt. Sorry, I can't. Sometimes I can't keep a straight face. This guy was one of the biggest wealth managers of all time. What? It's crazy. And listen, maybe he's fucking with me. Kid show, but maybe he's fucking with me. You know, maybe he's purposefully trying to confuse people. I don't know. But this guy was the CEO of Goldman Sachs. I'm sorry, man. Listen, as a millennial, let me just tell you guys something. As a millennial, there's some stuff growing up that it's hard for me to believe, okay? Listen, you grow up and you're like, okay, Goldman Sachs, they're smarter than you. If anyone that works there is automatically rich, and they're all bald white dudes in blue suits and Louboutin sneakers, and they're going to talk to you about how to manage your finances. Meanwhile, I've sat in this empty closet over the last 10 years and outperformed them by a mile by doing logical stuff. I own no Louboutin sneakers. I own no blue suits. This guy is the CEO of like the big huffing and puffing financial Wall Street market. I mean, I'm sorry. Call me a millennial that wears a bald cap in an empty closet. Sue me. But like, you gotta be kidding me. This guy, he can't even spell Bitcoin. I can't, seriously. I mean, there's some stuff I can't believe. I can't. This guy was the best money manager of all time on the big bad Wall Street. I mean, I'll never understand it. All I've done is stayed humbled and stacked sats, and this guy can't compete with my performance. What does that tell the world? I don't know. But I didn't go to college. I didn't take on a bunch of debt to get a history lesson and learn how to do math. I certainly didn't listen to Goldman Sachs, never applied to work there. And I still got hair. Didn't shave my head. I'm not bald. And I don't sit and try and imply that I know more than everyone else in the world about everything. Crazy. Sorry. I was trying to be composed. I was trying to keep that in. You know what? Here's let me tell you guys what I wasn't trying to do. I wasn't trying to, did he tweet again? No way. Oh, this is from a really long time ago. He tweeted that he was thinking about it. What I wasn't trying to, this is what I wasn't trying to say. I wasn't trying to say this boomer doesn't even know how to work his phone well enough to spell Bitcoin. Anyone could have just Googled how to spell it or asked ChatGPT. But this boomer is so bald and old that he couldn't even spell Bitcoin correctly. I can't even tell if he's fucking with me or not. That's like the reality of his tweet is like, this guy used to manage people's money. He can't even spell. That's what I didn't want to say. Okay, that's what I didn't want to say. That's what I was holding that in. I was like, this old man in Louboutin sneakers and a blue suit who sits on TV can't even spell Bitcoin, but is expected to lecture our government on how to get out of our debt. I didn't want to say that, so I didn't say that. That's what I didn't say. I didn't say that. I was biting my tongue. I was being, listen, everyone always calls me immature. I was being mature. I was holding back. And so I just will never understand how people take that guy, not him specifically. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's probably one of the best guys that have ever existed. But how people sit and listen to these people in suits, you know, I think Bitcoin, listen, if anything, Bitcoin's an education vehicle because you'd almost have to believe this guy before Bitcoin existed. It's impossible to like question these people. They spoke with such overwhelming authority. But now with Bitcoin, you're like, wait a second. These people on the internet are outperforming suit men constantly without doing anything in their sleep. You guys know what my strategy has been over the last decade? Let me break it down. I bought Bitcoin. I didn't sell it. End of presentation. Outperformed Goldman Sachs. Cha-ching. Cha-ching. So I don't know. Maybe that's why Trump and the new administration are listening to people like me and not like him. All right. Well, if you guys have questions about Louboutin, man, let me know. And in all seriousness, you know, I'm sure this guy's a good dude, and I hope he gets Bitcoin, but you know, we got to clap back. Cyber hornets, as they say. The next topic, I'm going to talk about taxes with how I live on Bitcoin. But before that, I'll give you guys a second to answer or to ask any questions. Feel free to ask questions. Goldman Sachs, who this guy is, whatever you guys want. But that was my slides for the FUD this week, where these two, oh, look at this guy. He's even wearing a blue suit. It's something about it. It's the navy blue suit. It's the Louboutin sneakers, right? And they're going to sit here and tell you you're wrong. It's like, all right, at least get a different color suit. What's with that? At least this guy has hair. Samid, leaving the stream. You know what we say in Bitcoin, have fun staying poor. Can't say we didn't warn you. All right. Ask questions, you guys, but we're going now into the most popular topic, which is taxes. Are you guys ready for this? Let me set myself up properly, and let me give you guys the backdrop here. Okay. Here's the deal. I'll go to the next slide. All right. Here's the deal. I live on Bitcoin, meaning I own $0 US. Why do I do that? I do that because the dollar only goes down, okay? When I live on the dollar, or when anyone lives on the dollar, your life just gets more expensive, okay? So I asked myself, why would I want to own any of the thing that just goes down and makes my life more expensive? Why would I own any of that? And my answer was, I don't know why I own any of those things. So I got rid of all my dollars. I own $0. Now, Bitcoin is the opposite of the dollar. You can't make any more of it. It cannot be inflated. It cannot be debased. And so when I realized, well, when I own Bitcoin, everything around me gets cheaper. It's the opposite of the dollar. My life gets less expensive as time goes on, the more I own Bitcoin. So how much do I want to own of the money that just goes up over time? And my answer was, well, as much as I possibly can. And so I birthed a new life for myself where I was going to own $0 and I was going to find a way to only live on Bitcoin. Now, for me to achieve that, thankfully and luckily, I also own and run a company, and we built two products to support that. One is to allow me to get paid in Bitcoin. So my direct deposit, my paycheck, I get it into Strike and it gets converted all into Bitcoin 100%. So that way, bi-weekly, I get paid in Bitcoin. Next is, how do I pay for things? How I live my life is I spend on credit cards in every day. So whether I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to the Bulls game, or I'm going to the bar, I just spend on credit cards. I got an Amex, I got an Apple card, Fidelity card, Chase Sapphire, whatever that is. The reason that that's such a beautiful product is the credit card allows me to spend dollars without having to own them, right? So I'm spending on credit, okay? And then when I have bills, like paying my credit card bill, or this place I'm sitting in here has an HOA, whatever my bill is, I link my Strike account, and Strike lets me pay that bill from my Bitcoins. So I get paid in Bitcoins, I pay my bills with Bitcoins. Since I started this, Bitcoin is up over 100%, which means Bitcoin has doubled in price, which is another way of saying my life has gotten half off, right? My checking account, my bank account, my account that holds my money has doubled in value, which means everything in my life has gotten half off. So that's how I live my life. That's my life hack. That's how everything around me gets cheaper, whether it's a house or college tuition or groceries or a vacation. Everything around me gets more affordable, more attainable. It incentivizes me to save. It's an amazing life. And it's just by going from a money that other people can print and debase to going to a money that no one can print and debase. Going from a money that only goes down to a money that only goes up over time. Okay. Now, the main question, we launched this product, by the way. So if you download Strike, you could do exactly what I'm doing. You could literally, I posted a video on my YouTube channel of I screen recorded my phone. I swear to God, of like, this is exactly how I live my life. And so if you guys want to go watch and see that, you can download Strike and you can get paid in Bitcoin and you can pay your bills with Bitcoin. Okay. So this is accessible to everyone. The main question that was asked to me after we launched this product last week is, what about taxes? You cannot do this with taxes. Taxes make this impossible. I'm not even going to do it with taxes. Don't taxes wipe away the gain? The answer to that is no, like not even close. But it's a good question because I think people are confused by taxes. A lot of people have accountants, so they don't actually do the taxes themselves, so they may not understand it. So I have an example here I put together that's very simple, and then I have an Excel sheet that my colleague made that we can walk through that has a lot more detail. Are you guys ready? We're going to talk about taxes when living on Bitcoin. I know it sounds like a dull topic, but literally it's the top of everyone's mind. I never thought that I would be on the internet explaining how I do taxes, but here we are, and I love it. Okay, here's my example. Let's say you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, okay? This is just an example's sake, but that's a round number. You buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. Next, Bitcoin goes up 10%. Okay, so what's the math on this? Your Bitcoin is now worth $110. I'm going to pause there. Following so far, right? You buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin goes up 10%. Your Bitcoin is now worth $110. Next, you pay a bill with your Bitcoin. So you use that $110 to pay a bill, okay? Let's assume your tax rate is 25%. Now, you can input whatever tax rate you want in this example, but keep following with me. So you bought Bitcoin at $100. You bought $100 worth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin went up 10%. That Bitcoin's now worth $110. You use that Bitcoin to pay a bill with Strike. Your tax rate is 25%. You owe 25% on your capital gain, okay? That's a key point, on your capital gain, meaning your capital gain is $10. So you spent $100 on Bitcoin. When you paid a bill with it, it was worth $110. What is your capital gain? It's $10. That's the capital you gained since owning the Bitcoin. Now, this is the part that confuses people, okay? So if you owe 25% on your capital gain, you owe $2.50 in taxes, okay? Does that make sense? So you would have made $7.50 after your tax expenses living on Bitcoin. If you were not living on Bitcoin, you would just still have $100 in cash while Bitcoin is worth $110. So you would have gotten debased. That's called asset inflation. That means the dollar's going down. Okay? Does that make sense? Let me actually, how do I move my head? You guys can't see this. Hold on. Look at this live editing. Look at us. Oh, shit. Whatever. You can see it now. Okay. Does that make sense? This is as simple as I can make it. Okay? This is as simple as I can make it. If you have one, I'm gonna say this again because Jared's asking to record it and post this. So I'm gonna try and clear my throat and record a postable synopsis. But first, Jared, we gotta edit this because the cutout of my fat head is in the way. Somehow I have to. How the hell? Maybe I'll make the font a little smaller. Okay, let's try this. Can you see it now? Genius, they say. That's what they say. They say genius. I didn't say that. They said that. Genius. Look at that. Google Slides editing. All right. Okay. Let's do this. Do this one for the internet. You'll see this one on Twitter, guys. Let me clear my throat. Let me get a sip of agua. Sip of agua. Make that loss/gain brainless for a 47-year-old nurse. I'm confused. Nurses are smart. Why'd you have to include that you're a nurse? Hey, self-love. Nurses have been so great to me in my life. Nurses are great. You're going to understand this. We're going to get this. We're going to get this. My colleagues are making fun of me. That should be illegal. Not while I'm live. That's not fair. All right. Straight face. Thank you for believing in me. One take. Okay, one take. Let me stretch. You guys have no idea. The videos I post on the internet, you have no idea how many takes I record. I'll never admit how many I actually record. I sit here all day and I record. I live alone. Thank God. Can you imagine if you were like my roommate? I was sitting here, yo, we just launched Africa. Fucking kill yourself probably. All right. Okay, taxes on Bitcoin. Here's the deal. Let's say you have $100. You take that $100 and you buy Bitcoin. That's what you see up there as step one. Then Bitcoin goes up 10%, meaning Your Bitcoin that you purchased is now worth $110. At a later date, you use this Bitcoin to pay a bill. Okay? Let's assume your tax rate is 25%. You now owe 25% on what is known as your capital gain, meaning the $10 that you gained in value since owning the Bitcoin. You bought the Bitcoin with $100. That Bitcoin was then valued at $110 when you spent it, meaning you gained the difference. You gained $10. You now owe your tax rate, which in this example is 25% of that gain, of that difference from when you bought to when you spent, meaning you owe $2.50 in this example, resulting in a net profit from living on Bitcoin of $7.50. And if you did not live on Bitcoin, you would still have $100 in cash that could not buy the same amount of Bitcoin because Bitcoin has gone up in 10%. You've experienced inflation, asset inflation in this case against Bitcoin, and you are actively getting debased. So when you pay taxes in Bitcoin, it means that you got a capital gain. It means that Bitcoin went up. It's a good thing. It means you avoided the ultimate tax of getting debased and having to face inflation. Granted, taxes are real, and you do have to give a percentage of your profits to the government, but it does not negate the value proposition of living on Bitcoin at all. You still retain majority of the profits for yourself, and you avoid the ultimate tax, which is inflation and currency debasement. Cut! Killed it. Killed it. How'd we do? Where's my nurse? Where's my nurse? Killed it. God, killed it. You know, all the time when I'm at like Bloomberg and stuff behind the scenes, and they're like, where do you do your media training? Media training? In the shower? I don't do fucking media training. Killed it. Clip it. Clip it. That's going on Twitter. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I know taxes can be intimidating, but I think what people were assuming is that you pay 25% of the $110 and that somehow by living on Bitcoin, you lose money. That's not the case at all. At all. You have to pay a percentage of your profits, but the mere fact that you're profiting means the dollar is going down. So you shouldn't own dollars. You really shouldn't. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. That was the biggest question I had to answer. I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to try and share. I'm nervous about this one, guys. This is an Excel sheet. And if we've learned anything doing these live streams is that I might crash this entire thing by trying this. But I'm ambitious. I'm ambitious. You know I am. And so I'm going to try. You guys will just let me know if I crash the entire thing. Okay. Let's see. Can you guys see this? Am I frozen? Did I crash? Talk to me. Pulse check. All good? You can see the screen? Okay. Okay. Amazing. Okay, so here's my colleague made this. Shout out Manuela, the GOAT. And here's what we're looking at. So this is more detail. So here we have assuming a biweekly paycheck of around $5,000, okay? And assuming that you have expenses in your life that are $6,000. So you're making about $10,000 a month in pay. Oh, tiny screen. Do I need to blow it up a little bit? Hold on. I can do that for you. Okay. This is blown up. Let me know if that helps. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Let's assume you have a biweekly paycheck of about $5,000. So you're making, I don't know, 10, but listen, I know people are going to say, that's not me, or blah, blah, blah. Listen, guys, you can input your own information. What do you think? I'm supposed to present representing all 8 billion people? Humble yourself. Who do you think you are? Queen Elizabeth? Come on, focus. Focus, focus. Come on, we're getting distracted. Back to the top. Let's assume you have a biweekly paycheck of about $5,000. Biweekly, meaning you get 2 a month, meaning you're making about $10,000 a month, okay? Now, let's assume you've got monthly bills of $6,000. So you're making 10, you're spending 6, okay? Now, you've got the taxes in here. You can change these if you want. So you got 45% federal tax, state taxes a little less than 5%. I even have the fees to buy and sell, okay? So everyone's like, well, don't you charge fees? Yes, I run a company. I have to make money. I have to process my employees' payroll. So I even put this in here, okay? And I'm assuming inflation at 3%, which is extremely generous. Inflation as we know it is probably like 10 or 20%. Okay, now, start date is the beginning of this year. Now look at this, guys. Look at this. This is ridiculous. If you were to stay in fiat, you would have gotten debased. If you would have put it in a high yield savings account, ooh, high yield, I'm getting whatever, 2% on my cash. Who cares? If you were to live on Bitcoin, look at how much you would be up. This is why I say life gets like half off. If Bitcoin average is going up 50 to 100% every year on average, listen, bear markets happen. You need to be fiscally responsible and prepare for that. You shouldn't be getting bottle service. You shouldn't be flying private jets, right? Be fiscally responsible here. But this incentivizes you to save. It rewards you to save. You finally have a money that acts in your best interest. Okay? And if I go to the data tab, this has all of the data. So it would go to show, like, listen, this is when you would buy. This is the price you would be buying at. Okay? Right? This is how much taxes you would owe. So guys, this is net of taxes, net of fees. Okay? So everyone on Twitter is like, he's not including the fees. Yes, I am. Oh, he's not calculating taxes. Yes, I am. What do you guys think? I'm a liar? I live this life. I do this. I do this. I live this life. This is my life. What do you think? I don't know what I'm talking about? I know what I'm talking about more than anyone else in the world. Come on. Come on. So look, start date, November of last year. End date, November of this year. Your life got half off. With taxes, with fees. If this doesn't help you understand it, I don't know what will. I literally don't. Taxes are not a problem. In fact, taxes are a good thing. Let me say it this way. If I never paid taxes on Bitcoin, that means Bitcoin didn't go up. Do people understand that? Owing taxes mean you made money. You made money. Listen, no one loves taxes. We can all agree on that. That's not an egregious hot take. No one likes taxes, okay? Let's say that. Let's put that out there. However, the fact that I would owe taxes means I made money. That's a good thing. If I didn't owe any taxes, that means the strategy's not working, okay? So it's a good thing that you have to pay taxes. It means you're making money. It means you're avoiding debasement. You're only paying a portion of your gain. So the profit is everything else. And this thing is so profitable. Owning Bitcoin is so profitable. You're making 50 to 100% a year on average. Okay? And everyone's like, we'll talk about the bear market, talk about the bear market, talk about the bear market. What about it? What about it? Here's my rules of life. Rule number 1, don't be an asshole. Don't spend more than you're making. If you're making $10,000 a month, don't spend $11,000. So live within your means, cut down on your expenses. Make sure you account for bad things happening to you. If you live a life that prevents you from saving, then you need to check your lifestyle. That's not Bitcoin's fault, okay? What I tell my friends in high school all the time is this. Okay, here's a thing that will change your life. All you have to do is buy it and not sell it. Now, here's the catch. They're like, what's the catch? That sounds too good to be true. Here's the catch. It's going to go up a lot and then down a little, and then up even more and then down a little, and then up the most and then down a little. And they're like, what? That's it? That's it? What else is the catch? No, there's no other catches. It's just not going to go up in a straight line. And they're like, oh, sounds like a steal. But then on the internet, everyone's crying and moaning that it could go down for a little bit. Get over yourself. What do you want, a foot massage? You want the protocol to massage your toes? Come on. Sorry. You know that meme where it's the mom like, Mom, why are we so rich? It's like, because dad wasn't scared that Bitcoin might go down for 12 months. That's why. Explain to your kid why they have to take out debt to go learn how to do math at college because you were too scared to own Bitcoin because of bear markets. Good luck. Good luck. Can't be me. Tell you that much. Can't be me. Yeah, also, by the way, on this screen, the fees at 99 basis points at 0.99%. I'm being generous here because the more you use Strike, that number goes way down. So if you are using Strike to do bill pay and to live on Bitcoin, you're not paying that much in fees. So I'm trying to be as generous as possible. I put the federal tax rate at like 50%. I put the fees as expensive as they could possibly be. And it's still like a life-changing strategy. So if this doesn't convince you, I don't know what to say. Bitcoin is adopted like gunpowder. If you don't adopt it, you become its victim. You know, I was talking to a reporter earlier today. I forget where they're from. And I was saying, she was like, you know, when do you think people are going to become convinced of Bitcoin? And I'm going to say, as soon as it bothers them enough that they don't own it. You know, because what always happens is like, man, how'd that guy own that house? Oh, he owns Bitcoin. How's he driving that car? How's he retiring so early? It's like, you know, people aren't stupid. They're not just going to watch other people have a way better life than them by doing something that they can also do, you know? So I don't know what to tell you. If this doesn't convince you, one day you'll meet someone that has solved a lot of their life problems by not owning dollars and owning more Bitcoin. And maybe that will convince them. Listen, I'm a good guy, chat. I'm a good guy. What I'm trying to do is educate the people to make sure that they have a chance to get on board themselves so they don't have to, years down the road, live with any regret. I don't want any of you guys to live with regret. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for you. But if you don't want to listen, there's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? Sorry, I went for a run before this. Your boy is parched. That's why I wasn't a singer. All right. Let me pull up the live stream questions because we're going to get into Q&A soon here. Okay. Let me know what you guys... Jeff, I would never give up on you. Let me stop screen so my face can get blown up. Listen here, Jeff. I would never give up on you. Jeff said, we're slow learners. Don't give up on us. I would never. Not the man I am, not the man I was raised to be. I'm here. I'm here for you, Jeff. You know that. You download Strike. You can get on this Bitcoin Standard. You can send a support ticket. I'll answer it, Jeff. You know I will. Here every week. We go live every week. On a serious note, something that I've come to terms with is the fact that I'm lucky enough to play this game we call life. I really think the most valuable I can be to the world in this short little blip is helping people use Bitcoin and educating people on why Bitcoin. So I'll be here. I've been here for the last 12 years. I'll be here for the next 12. Yes, Joe, good question. I should probably wait for the Q&A, but I'm not. Strike gives you a 1099B, so it's very easy. It's all automated. So Strike gives you exactly what you need to do the taxes. So it's very simple. You just plug it into your tax software or you hand it to your accountant. You're good to go. Good to go. Ooh. All right. I need some more water. Boy, it's parched. I'm on the carnivore diet. I do carnivore every now and then. I don't like doing it for like a persistent period of time. So I do it for like a month or two, and then I start to phase in like fruit and other things. But I'm in the beginning of it. So I'm like a week in. So my body's changing a little bit or adapting to it. And I get so dehydrated. All right. So also, guys, give me feedback on the two topics I picked was just some FUD. It was the 60 Minutes and the Goldman Sachs, bro. But let me know if there are other topics you guys want. Yeah, this is new water. This is Mountain Valley spring water. And it's because the other water I was drinking was out of plastic bottles and no microplastics. I'm big on health. The only thing that's more valuable to me than my Bitcoins is my life. And I want to be healthy. So I moved. This is glass. So glass water, Mountain Valley, good brand. And it was actually you guys, the chat. You guys were like, you can't be drinking all those microplastics, man. And I switched. So cool. Okay. Give me feedback on how I'm setting up the topics and stuff. I tried to put together a little presentation. Maybe I made it really laggy. I don't know. I'll have to watch it back. But give me feedback. And then topics wise, let me know if you guys like. I try and take like the FUD or what everyone's talking about that confuses people and break it down and try and answer it. I could change it up. We could talk about Sailor again if you guys want. I feel like we're always talking about Sailor, but that's not a bad thing. So give me feedback on that portion and if there's any way I could improve it. And with that, we got some time left to do some Q&A. You guys ready? All right. Here we go. First question. Why is California excluded from bill pay, and will it ever become included? California is excluded from bill pay because of, how do I say, like some regulatory stuff is as simple as I can put it. So that's the reason. It will be included in bill pay for sure at some point. We just couldn't do it initially, and we obviously didn't want to hold back the launch for everyone just because California isn't sorted out. So that's the reason. It's not a huge deal. I'm obviously super sorry for our California customers. I know that could be frustrating. I'm going to ask this and then ask for my colleagues to correct me in real time if I'm wrong here. But I'm pretty sure it's if your registered address is California, but I'm not positive. So take it with a grain of salt. This is not, investment advice or whatever, but it's if your registered address. So I know we had, I think, some customers. Oh, I might be getting corrected. Oh, that's correct. Yes, if you onboarded as a Californian resident. So I know we had some customers that may be like living in California for now or something like that. And they thought this didn't apply to them, but their address is in Illinois or in somewhere else in Florida. And that's fine. It's if you are a registered California resident and you onboarded in California. And even if you don't have a California address anymore, you can resubmit your docs and we'll process it and we'll change you out of California. But it is for California residents. It is not work. Yes, bill pay works in Wisconsin. The only 2 states it does not work, 3. It's New York, California, and Hawaii. Every other state, it works. New York requires a BIT license. It requires a special license. We applied for ours in 2022. It is now almost the end of 2024. We still haven't gotten it. Just takes time. So we're working. I want to be available in New York as bad as I can. And it's tough, but not anyone's fault. Trust the process. Got to just keep going. You know what I mean? Yeah, here we go. Charlie said, your team did a great job of giving my address updated. Just had to give them some proof, and it was done within 24 hours. Yeah. So like I said, if you guys submit proof, you want to change your state and stuff, just send it to the team. We're all over it, and it shouldn't be a big deal. Okay. Next question. What do you think about a way to divide our money and strike into different wallets/vaults? I know the head of our product is watching this, so I'm pretty sure we've heard that from a lot of our customers that you guys want different wallets, different vaults, different ways to segregate the money that you have on Strike. And we're aware of it. I can't speak to exactly where it's prioritized, but I know that we're aware of it and we know our customers want it. And, we work for you guys. We build for you. You guys keep us in business. You're the reason we're here. So if Manuela writes to me on the screen here to my left, I'll let you know if there's any more clarity I can give on that. But I know it's on the roadmap somewhere, and we plan on giving it to you guys for sure. Oops, she's typing. Nope, she said everything I said was correct. Perfect. Okay. Jack, will we see bill pay in Europe? Maybe. I don't see why not. I can't say it's something that is coming like tomorrow, per se. Europe, we're a lot newer to than the US. We launched Europe earlier this year. And so our European and our UK business is growing a ton. So really, really thankful that you guys are liking the product and onboarding your friends and family. But I would say, obviously in a cadence. So once we get a little bit more comfortable with Europe, and we are a little bit more stable with the growth and have found our feet there, that we would maybe expand our product services with something like bill pay. So I don't see why not, but I cannot say that it's coming like next week or anything like that. So sorry about that, but we'll get it to you for sure. We'll be there eventually. I'm happy, to be honest. Bitcoin needed a global company that was focused on it and focused on these type of financial services, incorporating Bitcoin more into your life. And the first step was, how can we operate globally, period? Because all other Bitcoin companies, aren't truly global. The only truly global companies are like Binance and Coinbase. And so I'm really happy that we figured that out and we can start competing with these bigger companies and serving really high quality Bitcoin products. And so it'll take us a second to really catch up some of the features that we have in the US, but we're obviously working on it, and you have my word on that. Next question. What would you say to people who are nervous to go all in with bill pay? What multiple of monthly expenses would you keep? I think the first part of the question really is, what value do you place on inflation and currency debasement and how it impacts your life? Because for me, it was a really simple transition to make because I didn't want to have to work as hard as I do to not make progress for myself and the people I love. And that's really what it comes down to for me, is I just refuse to do that. So there might be people that don't mind, as crazy as that is to say. There's people where I explain, like, listen, if housing inflation is 20%, that means you have to get a 20% raise every single year just to make, just to stay flat on progress of owning a home. And people are like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll learn more later. It's like, what? How does that not break your spine learning that? So I think, if this individual cares enough about not only inflation, but just the philosophical idea that you can, listen, you wake up on a cold morning and you're tired and you've got an extra project or hours of work and you don't want to get out of bed, but you do. And you go to work and you contribute to this world and you contribute value to those around you. And you're making a lot of sacrifice. And you're not owning more stuff. You're not allowed to get more stuff for your family, your friends, yourself. Your life is getting worse despite that. I mean, I would say, solve that problem. There's nothing scarier to me than that. That's terrifying, of living a life that no matter how hard I work, how hard I love, how hard I contribute, I'll own less. I'm going to get less housing. My kids are going to get less college, less groceries, less vacations, less energy, less heat, no matter what. I cannot outpace the debasement and the inflation. That's terrifying to me. And so my message is we have to solve that problem. I would say you definitely want to keep a rainy day fund. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But I think you keep a rainy day fund in life generally. The way I live my life is I go all in on Bitcoin. I don't have any dollars, so all of my money is in Bitcoin. And then I just price my life in accordance to that. Like, Bitcoin's gone down 80% before. So every day I make sure that if Bitcoin goes down 80%, I can continue to live the life that I want to have. And if Bitcoin goes up 80% instead, that's great for me. And you can make adjustments accordingly. So I think it's kind of that simple. I don't think the Bitcoin piece is that scary. I think you really have to ask yourself the fundamental question of how bad do you want to solve this problem? And are you familiar with the problem and how it's impacting you? Because the last thing I'll say is this, okay, I'm reminded of this because I've given this speech internally at the company recently on something totally unrelated. But, if you're driven to achieve and solve something, then hiccups are nothing than, a little intermediate thing that you need to figure out. You know what I mean? I think oftentimes people on a journey just build this cloud of assumptions that they haven't fully thought through. And oh yeah, taxes, volatility, I can't do that. And you're like, well, hold on a second. Have you actually thought through it and identified the real problems that are in the way and then tried to solve them? Or did you just spend 30 seconds because you were really scared at building this wall of fear that doesn't actually represent anything real, just so that you don't, because you're scared? That's what I think happens, not just in this example, all the time. I had to give this speech to my employees of do we actually want to achieve this thing? And if so, what are the specific things that are in our way? And then let's just solve those things, because we are driven to achieve something. Because if you are, anything is possible, right? So okay, volatility scares you. Let's pull up a Bitcoin chart. What's the most Bitcoin's gone down over what period of time? 80%. Okay. can you finance your life this way, that way? Like, yes or no? What problem do you have? How can you solve it? Okay, I don't want to have my net worth on strike. Okay. Buy a cold card. Take it off strike. You know, it's like if you're driven to live a life without inflation, to live a life where everything around you gets cheaper over time, more affordable, your kids are going to get more housing, more groceries, more college tuition, more inflation, more cars, more life, more medical help, whatever that is, then like figure it the fuck out. Sorry for the language. But like most of the time it's almost as if I need to give people like motivational life speeches. This has nothing to do with like strike and Bitcoin. It's like, are you driven to solve this problem? Like, then do it. Sorry, don't tell that to your friend because I don't know your friend. But like, it's another thing on the topic too, is like the French on this guy, kid show. Hey, kid show. Because the reality is like, I can only speak to myself. I figured it out, right? I did it. And my life's half off, okay? And mind you, before this, I didn't have bill pay. I didn't have these tools. We built these tools based on my experience to share with you guys. But I did this on my own because I was driven to solve a problem for myself, which is I will not wake up and work for myself and others and move backwards towards my goals. I will never let another man debase my life. I will not live that way. And I was determined to figure it out, you know? So it's like, how much do you care? And then like, I'm going to get all philosophical, but this goes down to like what I think is wrong with society in the first place is, you know, I think a lot of our problems are solved and faith is restored in this world when people start taking ownership over things again. You know, they're like, oh, I just need the right person elected, right? Or I just need like my boss to like me. It's like, just own it yourself, you know, do the work yourself. If you want to solve a problem, understand it, and then just figure it out. Anyway, sorry. Next, can people who live paycheck to paycheck stay afloat during bear markets? I don't know. Listen, like I can't be giving financial advice, you know? It's not my job. I'm also going to get in trouble if I do that. So this is not financial advice, nor it's not even because of fear of the rules. It's like, it's not my place. You know, I don't know your financial situation. Listen, you guys have to understand, volatility is life. Have you guys seen like, you know, a heart rate monitor when you're in the doctor? You know where it goes beep, beep, beep. That means you're alive. You know the line that's being volatile? Do you know what doctors get really afraid of when you go like this? Bzzz. That means you're dead. You know what I mean? So volatility is life. Volatility is a good thing. Volatility means Bitcoin is historically volatile to the upside, right? So it's a good thing that it's volatile. It means it's alive. It means it's going to go up. You have to understand the volatility and figure that out for yourself. I don't know your paycheck situation and your finances and stuff. So it's hard. But I can't give that financial advice. You know, you just try and spend the least you can. Like the way I've lived my life is just spend the least amount of money you can living the life that you want and put the rest in Bitcoin, budget properly. Don't get over your toes and you're going to be okay. For normies like me, doesn't it make more sense to buy as much Bitcoin as possible and keep a weak money to cover expenses in case of a massive pullback in the short term? No, not to me. That doesn't make sense. But again, I can only talk to you guys from my experience, but Bitcoin is the best performing asset in the history of our species, right? So therefore, it should be logical that Bitcoin goes up more than it goes down. So therefore, you can conclude that by holding a stash of dollars, it's getting debased more than it's covering you for dips. Like, does that make sense? And maybe I'm not articulating this properly. So by holding dollars, you're just subjecting yourself to severe asset inflation in Bitcoin terms. So if your CPI was the Bitcoin price, you're getting debased on average like 50% a year. Like inflation is like extreme, hyperinflation. Bitcoin is hyperinflating against the dollar. So that's the equivalent of someone like in Nigeria, shouldn't I have like keep a stash of Naira just in case? It's like, but it's being inflated like 50% a year. Like nobody voluntarily does that in Nigeria. So that's my experience. Like I just will not get debased. My CPI is Bitcoin. I don't measure CPI at 3%. I measure it at like 50%. I think we're living through hyperinflation in Bitcoin terms. And I don't want to have my stash of cash. Let's say your stash of cash was worth 1 Bitcoin, and then a few years later, it's worth 0.1 Bitcoin. That's like what hyperinflation feels like. I don't want to subject myself to that. So myself personally, no, that's not a good idea. But again, you guys, actually, this is a good opportunity to say you can pay bills on Strike with both your cash and your Bitcoin. So you can set it in your settings. So if you want, you can get your paycheck half Bitcoin, half cash, and then you can pay the bills with just the cash and continue to have free DCA and buy Bitcoin. You can live on Strike if not going all in on Bitcoin. But in my experience, the dollar only goes down. So I don't want to hold any of it at all. And yes, there will be dips. There will be times where I'm like, shoot, I really wish I didn't have to pay my bills at these Bitcoin prices. But again, on average, it goes up more than it goes down. Imagine me, put yourself in my shoes when Bitcoin was at 60K. And then one day I woke up and it was at 90K. I was like, let's go. Everything in my life just got cheap as hell. That happens way more than the opposite. Way more. Over the last 10 years of my life, Bitcoin has gone up way more than it's gone down. So it's like, do you want to guess and predict when things are going to happen? Probably not. You want to just own the Bitcoin and just be a beneficiary for when it pumps like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can only speak for myself. That's how I live my life. And it's changed my life forever, obviously. Guys my age and girls that I grew up with, how many homeowners there are? You know what I mean? Not a lot. There's a lot of debt. There's a lot of credit card debt. There's a lot of college debt. There's a lot of paycheck to paycheck living. And I'm so fortunate. You guys let me tell you guys something. This is real shit right here. You want to know why I'm sitting in this closet? Because I bought Bitcoin. That's the truth. You know what I mean? It's because all of my money's been in Bitcoin for a really long time, So it changes your life. Being able to live a life where your hard work actually benefits you over the long term. You're able to lower your time preference. You're able to save. It changes everything about you. It makes you prioritize your health, prioritize relationships. I'm thinking long term. I'm drinking out of this water bottle. I'm eating a carnivore diet because I'm thinking about when I'm going to be a dad and going to my kids' t-ball games and stuff. That's what I'm thinking about. Swear. Low time preference. I can work super hard and I know that it's going to benefit me. I know it's going to pay off. So it's changed my entire life. So I understand where you guys are coming from and I understand that it can be scary, but I'm never, ever going to sit here and say you should own a little bit of dollars. It fundamentally changed my life and many other people. And so I'm just going to keep trying to preach the gospel and say listen, you guys, I don't know your individual situations, but you should figure it out. I encourage you to figure it out for yourself because it changes your life and in more ways than just your net worth going up. Like if you're able to lower your time preference, value your future, there's something really like how defeating it is to society to know deep down that no matter how hard you work, you're not going to make progress. Do you know how detrimental that is to this world? And people that wake up tomorrow and go to work every single day, whether they know it or not, they feel it. They feel it. People are getting on the train to go to work, and they know deep down that if I bust my ass at work and I impress my boss, it's not going to change my life. It's not. I'm not going to get that house. I'm not going to pay out my debt. I'm not going to be able to afford to have 5 kids. I'm not. You know? Whereas someone on Bitcoin, that's the opposite. If I bust my ass, reduce my expenses, and own more Bitcoin, that's going to change my life. That's going to change my kid's life. That's going to make me healthier. It's going to get me a bigger house. Do you understand how valuable the difference is there? When you live in dollars, you are not a net beneficiary to human progress. The story of humanity is engineering a better world, okay? We have humans all over the world building AI, building Bitcoin, innovating in technology, innovating in medicine. And the fact that we're still living through inflation means central banks are printing more money than humans are innovating. You are not benefiting from all the innovation and growth that humans are producing. You're working backwards. By owning Bitcoin, something that no one can print, all of a sudden you unlock being a net beneficiary of human ingenuity and innovation and progress. All of a sudden, everything around me gets cheaper. All of a sudden, my time preference is lowered. All of a sudden, my hard work and the hard work of those around me pays off. Makes my life better, makes my life longer, allows me to have more kids, allows me to have a bigger house. Just by changing the money you're using. It will change your life. Owning a money that's hard, that acts in your best interest and protects you. Money is your time and energy in an abstracted form. It's your labor, it's your effort. It is one of the most important decisions you can make, is how you store and save your time, your energy, your labor, your effort, your work. And right now, billions of people are accidentally making the wrong decision. So I will never sit here and encourage you to do the same. I just won't. I can't. It's not in me. Okay. Next question. I think Strike's bill pay service is a great idea. However, as they say, not your keys, not your crypto. Not your keys, not your coins. How do I know my private keys are secure if I have to keep my BTC on Strike? So here's my response to that. First of all, Strike is a very secure, well-engineered company. We focus only on Bitcoin. We are the best in the world at what we do. So I'll say that. Furthermore, I encourage no one to keep their keys with anyone else. I do believe not your keys, not your coins. I believe in self-custody. We at Strike, we encourage that by offering free withdrawals to our customers. So you can withdraw your Bitcoin for free. You can automate it. And you know, there are months that go by where over 90% of the Bitcoin we sell to customers is taken off the platform. And I don't know, but I assume into self-custody of some sort. So I'm a fan of it. I encourage you to do it. How it could work with bill pay is this. We support the Lightning Network. And so what you could do is right before you need to pay a bill, you can just zip Bitcoin into Strike over the Lightning Network. It settles in a second. And then your Bitcoin is on Strike for like seconds or minutes or hours. And you're decreasing the time if you'd like. Like Strike, it's a fully functional Bitcoin wallet. So you don't have to keep your entire net worth on it if you don't want to. You can have cold storage, and then as you need, like I know friends of mine that live on Strike and that do it where they just like on the 30th of every month, they wake up, they send a lightning payment of the bills to cover the bills they need to pay. And the Bitcoin on Strike is there for like 6 hours, and that's it. So we try and make it so that Strike supports your ability to self-custody, and your ability to not store your net worth on Strike forever or have to have exposure in ways that would make you uncomfortable. So hopefully that answers your question. I would use the deposit and withdrawal methods. I would use Lightning. Can you do a demo and show us how to use bill pay on your app? If you guys go to here, I'll post it in this chat. But if you go to, I have a personal YouTube channel. It's honestly hilarious because when I was in college for like the month that I used to record myself playing chess online. And my videos of playing online chess are still up there. I saw some Bitcoiners commenting on it. I sound like a loser. I was a loser. I am still a loser, but not nearly as much as I used to be. And so it's on my personal YouTube account. It's right here. So here, I'll drop the link in the chat. But if you go to my personal YouTube account, that is a point of view screen recording tutorial of exactly how I use bill pay to live my life. So check that out. I made it specifically. So I show how my direct deposit is set up. I show how I pay bills. So I pay a credit card bill literally in the video. And then I show exactly where my taxes are in the app. So I go how I get paid, how I pay for things, and then where my taxes are. It should give you everything you need to know and shows you exactly how my Strike account is set up. Can you open source the bill pay Google Sheets? Yes. So I didn't make it. I'm not nearly sophisticated enough in Google Sheets and Excel to do that. My colleague made it. I know she wants to open source it. So she's working on it. Listen, I don't know how Excel works. Supposedly, if it's sloppy and stuff, then you'd be uncomfortable sharing it. So I know she's working on it and getting it to a place where we can open source it for you guys. So almost there. Maybe we'd make a goal for it internally at the company that we want to do it at some point next week, because obviously we have a lot going on at the company. But yes, we will definitely get that tool out to you guys, and then you can input what you're making, what you're spending, what your taxes is, and you can see. You can click, if I start at this date and ended at this date, how would I have done? And it's a really good tool. And the takeaway is Bitcoin is the best way to store money. Does Strike generate a report at the end of the year documenting every transaction and the price at the time of the transaction in order to calculate taxes owed? Yes. Strike gives you a 1099-B. So that's your tax form. It's in your profile. It's under the documents section. And we do exactly that. So taxes are a breeze with Strike. It's really straightforward. It's really simple. It's all automated. We also do monthly statements. So every single month, Strike produces a new statement that's available to you in your profile as well. So if you wanted to go look at every single transaction, you could for any particular accounting needs. So it's really straightforward. It's really easy. All of our customers will get a 1099-B, and they can use that for their taxes. So in your profile, it's under the documents section. Is Strike keeping track of my gains on sale and withholding for taxes? No, we are not responsible for withholding. We do not do that. So, maybe there's a feature we could do to not necessarily withhold, but to better aid if that's something that people want over time. But that's not something we do. My approach to this, we built the product in a way that really, I'm a big fan of people that build products for themselves because it means they really understand the problem. They really live the solution. And it means that the product at least is really, really good for something specific. And that's kind of what we did for me is the product works for me. I like how everything's reported. I like how the direct deposit works. I like how the bill pay solution works, but the product isn't only for me anymore. And as you guys give us feedback and critiques, then we'll just improve it. So if you have feedback and you want us to do anything special, let us know. But for now, no withholdings or anything. We're just calculating and putting it in these monthly statements. And then at the end of the year, we give you a 1099-B. If you pay bills when Bitcoin is down, will it cancel out previous capital gains? Totally. So you can mark down a loss as well. So, obviously you'll have some offset. Like I said, Bitcoin goes up more than it goes down. So on net, you will owe, but that's because you will make money using the strategy. So you should think of it as like, if I owe taxes, that means it worked. Think of it that way. So hopefully you do owe taxes, because that means that you avoid inflation and the strategy worked. So, but yes, obviously marking down a loss will work in your benefit, and it will offset some of your capital gain for sure. So let me tell you guys an example. Like, if you live through an entire bear market of loss after loss after loss in like 2023 or 22 or whatever, then you might mark off enough losses to basically offset like a large portion of the bull run, so that you're barely paying any taxes because you live on Bitcoin both in the up and the down. Does that make sense? So like I said, like if you actually outline the issues you're having and the problems you're having and like try to solve them, instead of just being scared and being like, oh shoot, this is way too overwhelming, like I can't do this, then it's actually not that bad. And it's a really good strategy, and it's a really simple one. Simplicity is the best. If I were to be like, okay, here's how you avoid inflation. First, you have to study Japanese central bank monetary policy. Then you have to get a degree in thermodynamics. But like, that's not it. It's really simple. It's like, don't own dollars, just own Bitcoin, spend on credit cards. Boom. Solve for inflation, lower your time preference. Your life is incredible. Very simple. Does bill pay help reduce tax burden in a bear market if it drops? Yeah, kind of just answered that one. So I'm going to move on. Do we know what effects an unrealized capital gains tax would have on Bitcoin? Unrealized capital gain tax on capital gain would be devastating to not only Bitcoin, to any formation of capital in America. Like, I have a painting in my house. Like, if that goes up in value, I owe taxes on that. According to who? Who's deeming its value? I mean, it would destroy capital formation and innovation entirely. So it would ruin America as we know it in the greatest market in the world. So obviously that proposal from politicians lasted about a day before it changed. And I don't think we'll ever see that, because it would literally ruin the world as we know it. It'd be ridiculous. I mean, you'd be profiting from inflation. So government would be able to print money, inflate assets, and then take money without you even realizing the gain. It's the most asinine political proposal I may have ever seen, to be honest. I mean, given I'm not that old, but like, that was the most ridiculous thing I may have ever seen. How does Strike handle paying with bill pay from my long-term cap gains self-custody coins? So, you can input your cost basis. We only know when you deposit, but it's your, like, listen, it's your, like, if you bought a Bitcoin in 2013, I can't know that. So we only know, we mark the price of when it's deposited and we account that for you. But obviously, if you're depositing really old coins from, you bought when the price was 200, then you just input that in your taxes, and it's just no big deal. So shouldn't be a big problem. Can you talk about the IRS changes to cost basis tracking in 2025? They want us to track the cost basis for an account/wallet separately. Yeah, well, I think that we need to see what this new administration is going to put in place, because I think Trump is going to drastically reduce the IRS, and Doge, Elon and Vivek, significantly. So I can't really speak to that, because we are having a change in office and an administrative change in the White House. So, I said this on a podcast recently. The U.S. is so unique in the sense that, we elect someone and then we have a waiting period where we all have to freak out about what they're going to do. It's kind of weird and unsettling. So I think we need to wait for Trump to get in office and actually understand how he's going to tax us, and like what he's going to do with the IRS. The previous administration wanted to hire 90,000 new IRS employees, and Trump wants to get rid of the majority of them and potentially get rid of taxes entirely. So I think we just need to wait and see, if I'm being honest. So obviously the rules are the rules for this year. So filing your 2024 taxes should be very straightforward, but for 2025, let's like see what the new administration wants to do. Okay. How do you handle the naysayers throughout everything? That's a good question. Honestly, how do you handle the naysayers throughout everything? By winning. I say all the time internally at the company, as long as we keep winning, everything else takes care of itself. Winning is a solution for everything. So, as long as Bitcoin continues to operate, there's a new block every 10 minutes. It continues to be censorship resistant, accessible globally, fixed supply, and appreciates against failing currencies. And at Strike, we continue to focus on Bitcoin, serving customers. We listen to you guys. We put your guys' interests first. That's how we handle naysayers or haters, is through proof of work. Any Chicago Bitcoin meetups or maybe plans for Strike to build out the local community? We do. We host Bitcoin meetup at our office. We host BitDevs. So it's a fairly technical one, but we do host at our office. Our office is 200 North LaSalle here in Chicago. And I think that that's a monthly meetup. So you should be able to find BitDevs you should be able to Google it. There should be like a meetup group, also a Twitter account, I know. And they've hosted at our office, I think, for a few years and continue to do so. So I can't promise like when I'll be there. I travel a lot. I have stuff going on, but I know a ton of Bitcoiners here in Chicago that meet up and talk about the development efforts and just chat about all things Bitcoin at least once a month. There's usually beer and pizza and stuff like that. Cool. Okay. Oh my goodness. There are a ton of questions. Holy shit. I was only on page 1. Kid show. I was only on page 1 and there's 2 pages. Okay. Here's the deal, guys. I've got only like 10 minutes. We actually are launching something tomorrow. I have to do that before I go to bed. So I've got about 10 minutes. I'm just going to blitz through this like rapid fire. Is that cool with you guys? You guys okay with that? So 10 minutes. There's a decent amount of questions left, and I'm going to blitz through them. And if I need to expand, we can always bring it to next week. What's the likelihood of the U.S. selling all of its Bitcoin before the administration's change? The likelihood? I don't know. I would say not very likely. I think there's a lot of speculation that Biden hates Trump and thinks that he's going to try and ruin everything he can before Trump takes office. But after they've met and the media has covered it, it's unclear if that's true. So it's unclear to me if Biden really does hate Trump. It seems like Biden was actually really upset at some of the Democrats and how they maybe turned his back on him. I don't know. I don't know how to speculate on politics. I'm not sure. I would say not very likely, but it's totally possible. And that would be a really good buying opportunity. And if I paid a bill during that time, then I would get to offset some of those gains with a loss. It'd be great. What happens if Russia establishes a strategic Bitcoin reserve before the US? Well, then we'd have to establish a bigger one. I mean, listen, the game theory is real. It's real. People know that the US is at least going to have a strategic reserve of the coins that we hold currently and potentially add severely to that reserve. So there are definitely countries out there, shout out El Salvador, that are stacking Bitcoin every single day. If Russia comes out and says, oh yeah, by the way, we own 1 million Bitcoin, well, I guarantee you the US owns at least 1,000,001. So the game theory is real. I think it's bound to play out. Will it happen on day one? Will it happen in Trump's first year? Will it happen in Trump's first term? I don't know. Will it happen inevitably? Yeah, 100%. So I don't think it's a big deal. Listen, I believe in the United States of America in the sense that, it's my hometown, it's my country. I believe in its ideals and in the reasons it was founded. And I think we can be a leader in the Bitcoin space. Hopefully, it's where I'd love to raise my kids if possible, but we have problems to solve. What's the likelihood of Trump creating and promoting his own shitcoin during his term? During his term, hopefully zero. Hopefully an active sitting president cannot promote a shit coin and solicit investment for I don't know, hopefully zero. I really hope that Trump now is building out his team. He's getting people around him, and I really hope he's gonna learn, I guess. I don't know. I was trying to figure out polite ways to say things. I hope that he learns. I hope that he learns and he educates himself through the people he's surrounding himself with. He's building a great staff. I don't know. It sounds all tech forward, industry forward, people that have built companies and have experience. And I'm hopeful that he learns and he doesn't even have interest in a shitcoin. Do you think Microsoft will announce adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet the day they vote or days later? I don't think Microsoft will announce it, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to add Bitcoin, at least right now. I think it's amazing that shareholders are requiring these things to go to vote. It's giving Bitcoin publicity. It speaks to the open network. There's Bitcoiners everywhere. Lavinia is killing me by adding questions in real time. My voice is going to go out. There's Bitcoiners everywhere. There's Bitcoiners everywhere. This goes to show it. They're on every cap table. They're invested in every company. They're running countries. They're building software. That's the open network. We have teammates. We have hundreds of millions of people on our team all over the world. Who can stop that? Nobody. So I think eventually these things will happen. I don't think tomorrow we're going to learn Microsoft will be buying Bitcoin. I really don't. Unfortunately, sorry. Will Portnoy ever buy Bitcoin? Portnoy has bought Bitcoin. He owns Bitcoin. We've talked about it before. He's a speculator and was waiting for it to go down and never went down. If anything, Dave is a great example of what you shouldn't do. And fortunately, he's a super successful guy who's probably one of the funniest, most authentic internet personalities we've had in my lifetime. And he's been able to make an incredible life for himself without Bitcoin. So fortunately, he could be that example and not to too much of his own detriment. But he's an example of someone who gave in to the natural human tendencies of waiting for Bitcoin to go down, and it never went down. And now he regrets it and loses sleep over it. So if you don't believe me in saying just take all your money and buy Bitcoin and figure out a way to hold on to it, then look at Dave, who thought he was smarter than Bitcoin and wasn't. And that's, again, the whole Bitcoin is an ego test, and having to be humble and a sense of humility is that when you think you're smarter than Bitcoin and you think you can time Bitcoin, you will learn the really, 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 really hard way that you're not. So I don't encourage that on anybody. For all of you guys, I hope you don't have to learn lessons the hard way. Hard way is very painful, tons of regret. Really, really would not recommend that, but happens to some people. Okay. Got 5 or so questions left. We're going to blitz. Cold storage. Jack, in your opinion, what would you recommend is the best cold wallet? Is there a best? No, not necessarily. I think it's depends on your preference. I think BitKey's great. I think Dorsey's new product is awesome. It's a trade-off, though. It's very different than – I'm not picking my nose. I'm like this. My nose itches. It's cold here in Chicago. Anyway, distractions. I think BitKey's great. I've used Trezor before. I think Cold Card is one of the best. So I would say one of those would be my go-to recommendation for someone newer. I would say someone absolutely new, first time storing Bitcoin and cold storage, I would say BitKey. Someone more advanced, I would say Cold Card, but there's no wrong answer in my opinion. Rumor has it that the price is being suppressed below 100K on purpose because OTC won't have enough BTC to offer if it blows past 100K. Thoughts? I think that's a ridiculous rumor. I always laugh at that. Just so you guys know, OTC desks can't run out of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just at a higher price. So if OTC desks can't find Bitcoin at 100,000, then they go search the market for Bitcoin at 101,000. If they can't find it there, then they search the market at 102,000. And eventually they'll find more Bitcoin at a higher price in the market. That's how markets work. And specifically, that's how Bitcoin works, because in everything else, when someone wants one, you try and figure out if you can make them one. If someone wants an iPhone, you figure out, can I make you an iPhone? If someone wants a cheeseburger, can I make you a cheeseburger? If someone wants more gold, can I mine you more gold, right? And that's why when there's more demand, there's usually almost always more supply. But in Bitcoin, there's not. When someone wants more Bitcoin, we know for fact we cannot make any more, okay? So it has to come from the market. And if the market, there is none available at the current price, then the market will try the next higher price and the next and the next and the next. So OTC desks can't run out of Bitcoin. They can find more. They'll just have to go to a higher price. I've always said, I'm happy to depart with some Bitcoin if you guys give me the Chicago Bears in return. So if OTC desks are running out of Bitcoin, just give them a sec. They'll find some more as soon as I can buy the Bears. So no, I don't think OTC desks are running out of Bitcoin. I think that is FUD. What's your perspective on AI? What if AI can figure out a novel way of breaking key encryption? What if AI figures out cold fusion? I don't even know what some of these things mean. Listen, my philosophical approach to AI, I think a world of Bitcoin and AI is going to unlock an art renaissance. I think that when your money is broken and you're working backwards in life, you're constantly having to pick up two jobs. You may be an engineer, but half of your life is spent on central bank monetary policy and your Robinhood account, because half your life has to be an investor and the other half has to be working in labor and collecting paychecks. I think that we have so many people that are doing mundane jobs just to get by. No one's following their passion. No one's pursuing their true interests, right? How many people do you know that do their job because they have to and then try and do things they care about because they can, hopefully? But if we have AI that can, hey, I need a legal document, I need a terms of service, I need to do this tax form, and a computer can do that for us, and we have Bitcoin that can actually store our time, energy, effort, and labor so that people don't have to study monetary policy. People don't have to work two jobs. People don't have to compromise on debt and how many kids they can have and what they can do with their lives. I think we'll see a new renaissance of art and pure interest where people can have a hard money and artificial intelligence that unlock their ability to pursue their dreams and pursue things like history and art and music. Like, how many people would be a musician if they could afford to? Probably more than there are today. Yes, wage slavery. So I think the combination of Bitcoin and AI will have an effect in which society is much more encouraged to pursue artistic goals and artistic desires and interests, and the world will fall back on what it means to be naturally curious. That's what I think. I'm hopeful about that. Jack, what content do you consume / people do you follow on Twitter, podcasts, YouTube channels? I don't know. You can go on my Twitter and click following. I follow all the normal. I listen to Marty and Matt, TFTC. I listen to Press and Pish. I listen to Natalie Brunell. I listen to Peter McCormack. I listen to Stefan Livera. I listen to all the normal stuff. I listen to Sailor, everything Sailor does. I love Sailor. I think he's great. So all the normal stuff. You can see who I follow on Twitter, but nothing crazy. I'm a student of the internet. I didn't go to college. I'm a millennial. I grew up on the web. So I'm spend most of my time gathering information on screens, for bad or good. I actually just invested in some blue light and red light glasses, believe it or not. I would wear them right now, but I'd look like an idiot, so I didn't. But any event, you can check out all my stuff. Should be public, and you can go see what who I follow. But I don't have any like special insights or hot tips or anything like that. Cool. Okay. That is all. And we're just past the top of the hour. I see the live countdown. I am 30 seconds away from a 2-hour live stream. So here's how I will end it. For a lot of this live stream, we almost had 500 viewers. Crazy. So thank you. Thank you guys. let me tell you something. This is some real shit. Kid show, real shit. I've got the coolest job in the world. I wouldn't trade my life for anything. This is just the best. It's the best way to spend a Monday afternoon, to click a button and turn on my webcam on the internet and be able to share what we're living through with random people all over the world that I'll probably never meet. It doesn't get any cooler than this, and I genuinely mean that. So all the support that you guys give me, it's not lost on me. I will say sometimes my career has gotten really hard, and one of the things that's kind of got me through it is the support I've gotten from the community. Like, I don't want to let you guys down. And so it's a really meaningful relationship we have, and just means a lot that you guys tune in and I'm able to share this with you guys. This podcast, there's no ads. Like, this is all self-funded stuff. I do it because I believe in Bitcoin, and I don't know. It's cool, man. It really is. So thank you guys as always. I read all the feedback. I integrate the feedback. We got to get Dollar Bill back on here. I know that, but leave comments. Let me know what could be better. We'll start having some guests on. I've got maybe Matt Odell as a guest. I think Gigi would be a fun guest. I got to ask American Hodl if he'd come on. You know, inevitably we'll have Sailor on here. So let me know what Bitcoin guests, what Bitcoiners would interest you. And I'll talk to you guys next week. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the comments. Peace. Much love. Stay humble, stack sats. See you guys.